Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Broadcast.gg 2, number 2 channel. I'm Lemon Kiwi, joined here with Mushu Beef, and we got some hot scrims ready, baked fresh for you. Know Yourself versus Heretics Gamblers. And I know we've seen a little bit of Know Yourself under maybe a different team name, but why don't you start us off with those players?
That's right, we got hot scrims coming up, hot scrims up front, Lemon. And, this reminds me of there's somewhere between you remember I guess back in the day, you remember back to the 1920s when they had the paper boys in the corner. I don't know if that's what you're referring to or if you're referring to the pizza place when they got the cheese pizzas coming out hot and fresh, but anyways, we'll get back to the game. This is Team Know Yourself on the blue side, Showtime, Mechanics, T-Smack, LOL, which is taking on a different name today, also known as Lizard Birdie, but of course OP Freeze, that flex player that we know so well from this team. But on the other side, Heretic Gamblers, these are some new folks entering the game here, but it's going to be I 3.9 slash 4.0 SR, 4.0 KSR games, Lemon. I'm definitely looking forward to it as we start out here on Oasis.
And with today's patch, I know you guys are going to be looking forward to seeing what Sombra is going to be bringing to this new meta. A lot of talk about how overpowered she is, especially with her hacks, not only with the range, but now she affects the movement of players like Pharah and Mercy. Able to take those players down from the sky is going to be really crucial here, and OP Freeze has got that locked in.
And, I mean, we're going to see it right away, Lemon. It's going to be such a huge thing. You talked about how the effect is going to be quite apparent if we're just looking at the patch notes, but we're finally going to see it play out. And I'm pretty excited to see how it goes. It's going to be Heretic Gamblers. They get the higher ground here, but unfortunately they are having that, they can use that pillar in the center as cover, but Heretic Gamblers getting Logan picked off first. Narcissus also falls too.
Yeah, it's a little ouchy there on the side of Heretics Gamblers. They do lose the 1 support, 1 DPS, but equally exchanged on the other side, Know Yourself lose T-Smack. But the number advantage clearly in Know Yourself's favor. They're looking for the first capture. Maybe they could stagger here in Perkins, my favorite breakfast place back in Canada. Sort of off topic, but already a quick 5% on the board.
I guess if there's someone named Hortons, I feel all too... or Tim, or together, Tim and Hortons on the same team, that'd be pretty nice if we had that here. But Heretic Gamblers, they got some early picks off against them, Lemon. If you look at their composition, they got running the 2-2-2 into this. And of course, they want to dive in and jump in right away with the tanks. And so finally, they have a front line more established here. Their issue was they had the Mercy get picked off, but now it's going to be 2 Heretic getting taken down too. This other mech going to be lost here. Try to catch up is going to be taken out, which means the entire backline is exposed for Heretic Gamblers. They're certainly gambling with their fate here, just jumping in and seeing if the dive works.
Well, it didn't work, Mush.
Nope.
The nicely timed sound bearer for Showtime gave them a little bit extra health at the beginning of that fight, where 2 Heretic, the main tank for Heretic's Gambler, went down super early. Not only that, they fed a lot of ultimates there to Know Yourself, mainly OP Freeze has that now buffed Sombra EMP, looking to maybe see if that can have an effect on taking Logan down from the sky or anybody up in the air. But here's a Transcendence from Heretic's Gambler to lead them on to the point, and hiding from the sky from low finds the triple kill, supports down along with the hopes and dreams of Heretic Gambler.
And there already is the power of the EMP leading them right into a team kill, Lemon. We saw the perspective of Narcissus. He whipped out the Dragon Blade, but it got EMP'd, so just lost his dash immediately. Already it was very powerful against a Genji who had already popped the ultimate. But now, I mean, we see just how much other work it can do. It's going to be the last push here for Heretic Gamblers. Narcissus finally able to get the reflect down, but that cooldown will be away as they try to engage here on the last point.
And Logan can now use the Valkyrie without worrying about this EMP from OP Freeze that can come in and make her extremely vulnerable. OP Freeze, so finding that early kill into Perkins. Barba is going to be down as well. This is not looking good for Heretic's Gambler, who invested that Valkyrie, try to get this extra healing in, but the tanks are still alive and well for Heretic's Gambler, but not for long. These anti-heals are making it hard to stay alive. Already the D-Meg going in, and not much looking else as Showtime pops the Soundberry, even got the extra leftover ultimates being unleashed from Know Yourself, and a quick 100-0 Mushu. Oasis starting off hot.
I mean, already was pretty hot here in the desert. It's just roasting Know Yourself. Clearly knowing exactly how they want to run the composition. And the Sombra really showed how powerful she is right now. The EMP, very impressive to get an EMP and get so much of course, the EMP landing on the other team, especially with all the sight lines and a lot of different kinds of cover. But Heretic Gamblers were always on the back foot. They had to group up in order to stay alive, but that's exactly what a Sombra wants, and they played into that hand. But finally here, you're going to see Heretic Gamblers coming out with the Pharah. Will not be a Pharah on the side of Know Yourself, so we'll have to see how much ground they can get with this Pharah in the sky. But they got to watch out for the hack, Lemon, because you know what happens when a Pharah is hacked now in this patch.
Yeah, OP Freeze could easily just take this high ground and be in the range to take Narcissus down from the sky, or Logan, whichever target they do go for. But that early high ground control going to go for Heretic's Gambler. A little bit of a dive coming in from Know Yourself, who are running now the Roadhog and the Winston rather than the usual combination of D.Va and Winston. But early picks going in. Looks like Know Yourself have the actual point control, but there's still a lot of members of Heretic's Gambler up.
You just got to watch out at this point. We'll flip the other way because, again, that high ground control you were talking about is very important, as it's going to be Heretic Gamblers. They lose the first point, but they're able to flip it here after they clean up the last remaining members. It's going to be showtime. Lights out. Curtains called. For now, though, you'll still get 20% capture percentage.
And what a quick Valkyrie that was built up there from Logan, just healing the entire team. I don't think really that many people dropped for Heretic's Gambler. Unfortunately, they focused on that high ground control, so they gave up 19% without being onto the point. But now they can have this defender's advantage, and it's going to be Narcissus having that barrage. We got to keep an eye on him as soon as these players from Know Yourself can enter either doorway. I expect this barrage to come in. Just have to be wary of the hooks, and there it is. The triple kill supports, and OP Freeze out of the picture.
Yep, just like you called it out, it's going to be raining rockets on here in the gardens.
Hallelujah.
I guess that's not exactly what's going to be causing more growth here in the of the gardens. We have lots of plant vegetation already. The rockets is still very resilient to it, though. But Heretic Gamblers are going to be pushing back the attack from Know Yourself finally, and this seems to be the answer already, Lemon. The Pharah has been really working, but we see the ultimate from the side of Know Yourself. That's Lizard Birdie with the Deadeye. Did a really good job with that on the last map. See if we can recreate the success.
Oh, OP Freeze is actually going to be coming from behind, gets the hack onto Barb, and now they're going to be chasing her down, but this opens a window of opportunity to distract this team enough for Know Yourself to get onto the point. It's a Primal Rage, Sound Baron, and also the Deadeye. The kills are rolling through for Know Yourself, and just on time to retake the point, it looks like.
They'll be able to clean up the final kills here. The fight has been kind of extended to different sides, as it will be Perkins, one of the last to fall for his team. Heretic Gamblers get overturned. They have a lot to work with going into this next fight. Again, the self-destruct is a possibility here. You have Perkins with the Deadeye too, and they've been really good with the high ground, but they've maintained the high ground since the beginning of the game. We'll see if they can battle it back, Lemon, if they can wrestle it away, and I don't think Know Yourself are going to give it away easily.
Yeah, and OP Freeze coming from behind should maybe go for the hack onto Perkins, trying to avoid the stun, which might give her a little bit more breathing room when trying to go for the back line here. But an interesting angle is going to be coming in from Narcissus through sort of the side, where the pinch is coming in from the rest, and a nano onto Incubus. It's going to be one deadly Roadhog, but still needs to make room onto the point for the rest to follow, where a self-destruct might be able to do that. Finds T-Smack now. Most of the team is down for Know Yourself, but they're in a position of just trying to stall for time and build that percentage until Heretic's Gambler retake it.
They will retake it, indeed. OP Freeze tried to go for the flank hack, as you mentioned. Did get that off successfully, but then just got completely shut down by the rest of the team. One of the difficulties with Sombra right now is that she does not get ultimate percentage by her teammates or herself collecting the health packs anymore. It's all about the damage dealt. So these EMPs, yes, they are more potent, but they don't come as often.
Oh, and Narcissus is there with the barrage again, but not finding much luck with the stun and everything going through, but also the Deadeye on the field might make up for the kills, but it does temporarily zone off the reinforcements of Know Yourself that are only 4 are currently alive. Mechanics pops the Primal Rage to build some time for his team, where LOL trying to laugh his way onto the point, maybe get a few kills to his name. Showtime there to get some healing and some speed, and they're getting a lot of sort of stall time here for reinforcements, but looks like over time Wick is going to be burning away, and Heretic's Gambler take the second map 100-64 to equalize Oasis.
in such a position to where they're more comfortable. The Pharah seem to be the answer, and it will be onto the last map, University, a map that you could run the Pharah, but again, lots of health packs and places to hide for OP Freeze's Sombra, so we'll have to see if he continues to run that hero Lemon. But the adjustments were there, and they were made, and really was all about the upper ground, that high ground. So we'll have to see if Heretic Gambler still try to contest that high ground that has most of the visibility onto the point itself, as it will be, again, more of a McCree showdown too, so have to watch out if Lizard Birdie can finally carry his team to a victory here, as it is down to a best of one on this map.
Well, Perkins will be the answer to OP Freeze. As soon as OP Freeze comes to the backline, you expect Perkins to just treat her like a tracer. Go for the stun and pick her off before she does any more damage here, but an interesting underground route is being taken from Know Yourself, which Heretic's Gambler are now, well, is anyone here? There she is, gets that early hook onto OP Freeze. The follow-up from Mechanics is going to punish him as well. Only one tank remain for Know Yourself.
You talked about the flashbang being an answer to the Sombra. What about a hook to the face being dragged right in? That has gone fishing in the barrel. So, the hook goes the other way, though. Perkins is going to be taken out. But look at this, it's just they have the shield from the Orisa to hide behind. So even though they lose Perkins, they're able to res him because of the safety of the shield provided.
And another aspect that we haven't touched on is Heretic's Gambler running Logan on this Mercy, where Know Yourself are opting to have T-Smack on the Ana, which gives Heretic's Gambler the ability to resurrect, have that extra number available if the fight does keep going on. But T-Smack has these anti-heals that are so effective to sort of dwindle down the health pools, especially to a self-healing tank like Roadhog.
Oh yeah, I mean, that is a very big key there, but they did get the pick onto the Tracer, and so now this Lizard Birdie has the Dead Eye. He's going to be taking out Orisa. The shield went down in the middle of that too, and that great grenade means that Lizard Birdie is going to be able to continue that pressure all the way through. They flip it, and not too many ultimates. It just took a Dead Eye and some really good execution from Know Yourself.
Well, I want to see this whole hog nano execution coming up. Now they're in a defender's advantage and need to build up a little bit of a lead. 42 given up there to Heretic's Gambler. But an interesting swap, as you mentioned, to the Tracer. Narcissist gets a pulse bomb, doesn't find any targets though. Orisa shield, I think it stuck the Orisa shield there, but shields being broken from both sides. But what is that we hear? We hear a Riptide from OP Freeze trying to go towards the backline. Bit of a distraction, knows the other team has to disengage, but gets shot down there from Perkins. Great defensive awareness from him.
Going to be able to really find out that tire, and that's going to be the key of it. But now the entire team is scattered. They have to just use the Transcendence, and they're not even in a position to be able to take the point right now. So that is precious time being wasted off of that Transcendence. But here comes the whole hog. He gets flashed out of it though. Try to catch up, and Perkins sneaking around the left side, but as they attack, they're very confused and they really run around. They get some kills on the way out, but try to catch up is going to have to wait for the rest of the team. Telling his team, just read my name, you'll know exactly what I'm trying to say.
Heretic's Gambler, yeah, having to disengage, losing their tanks, losing one of their supports, just not having the numbers to re-engage here. And it's smart to not burn too much time here. Here's Incubus there with the whole hog, just to push everybody back that was even trying to engage him. Although, really not that many people from Heretic's Gambler were there to challenge somebody like a Roadhog with not the number advantage, but Heretic's Gambler have built a few ultimates on the board. Perkins and LOL have the Deadeye. Let's see how this Cowboy showdown goes down.
But the shield is on the point, and it is to the advantage of Know Yourself. We hear the Riptire coming in. Goes behind the shield, though. It only takes out the Bongo, but that's a lot of damage removed from the attack. And in the meantime, Perkins is going to be taken out, and LOL will clean up the rest of the team, too. It ticks down. It's going to be Know Yourself. They win it 2-1 on Oasis.
Wow, the setup from Know Yourself on this last map, they had the high ground control, the mid control, and even when you saw Heretic's Gambler go through the hallway, there was just no room for them, whether they were getting hooked. Now they switched to a Junkrat, so not really any hacks, but everything they were trying, it's just they could not find an opening to engage the point. Whenever they did, they were losing numbers, whether it was the main tank, which was the Orisa, or maybe one of the supports as Zenyatta went down, but fantastic play of the game from LOL, which is Lizard Birdie, I guess, as is of their alternative account, which is known to be one of the better hit scans that we've seen in these scrims.
We've noted him down for his performance on the Widowmaker, but again, just like in the same way, the McCree is going to be just as good too if you can hit your shots get your plinks on the headshots. And really, it was around Lizard Birdie's opening picks that helped them push when it was them trying to attack, trying to take over the point. Got some early picks onto the Tracer. Believe that was Narcissus on the Tracer, and then that allowed them to reduce the damage. They could take their time and then follow up with more picks, and that's ultimately how they wrestled it away from Heretic Gamers.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to I just want to make sure the audio sounds good. I'm listening to the stream a little bit. 1 second. All right, give me a little hype, or just normal talking.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to like actually go away from the mic when I start getting hype. But 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, you want hype? I don't want to.
Even now, that's fine. I think it should be fine now.
Okay.
Okay, cool here. All right, we're going on
cool.
to. Oops. I'll just be watching the levels as we roll out here, because we do know the next map, Lemon. This is where wish we can queue up the Frank Sinatra track.
Fly me to the moon. I caught that reference.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
You didn't catch. I was wondering if you caught my Hallelujah reference, but I don't know if you did.
I mean, I just saw. I heard it as a piggyback.
Yeah, like, you know, it's rain and men.
Oh.
It's raining hallelujah. Because you said it's raining rockets, so it's a woman's theme song.
Rockets. Hallelujah. Ham would get that right away.
Yeah, I know. She would.
I'm a scrub, though. I'm a scrub lord when it comes to references.
I
dish him out, but it's not for sometimes it's just not your day.
Yeah, I missed your Dunkin' Donuts one. I'm still mad about that.
I did enjoy that one too.
My excuse is that I'm not American, but I think I was just not paying attention.
It's all right. These things happen. These things happening. I guess, but does it matter if you're American or Canadian or whatever when you're in space, Lemon? Because we are out here on Horizon Lunar Colony, all about doing your research, reporting out, and trying to improve the world through your lunar ops research operations. But it will be know yourself. They're on the defensive side first, and of course the halt and hook of your Orisa and the Roadhog combination was really key for that last push. We saw a lot of hooks come out, but it's going to be know yourself bringing that combination. But Heretic Gamblers, they do bring the hook themselves, but they want that mobile shield and the Zarya too, so running triple tank into this for their attack.
Yeah, they're going to be able to speed boost their way with the triple tank, and we'll have to see how Know Yourself are going to deal with it. They have OP Freeze on the Junkrat that can deal out and shell out a lot of damage for these tanks coming in, and LOL on the Soldier will maybe have to take a further back approach to trying to break down these shields coming in. They have to be wary of the hooks that can come in from try to catch up or Incubus on either side, but you can see Heretic's Gambler just trying to find the angle to get on the point.
And they're working their way up very decisively, but the shield now is going to be starting to get a lot of the abuse from 2 Heretic, so it has to back off a bit. Narcissus is getting very charged up, though, already up to 100 charge, and they have the Coalescence already up here, but here comes the Riptide the other way. See what they can find. They're going to be sneaking around this left side. It's going to be starting to get chewed out, and it just gets melted, gets destroyed, actually. So the defensive side, they're running out of tools.
Well, Heretic's Gambler only lose 1 tank here, still trying to go in. They started off with Barb's Coalescence. They're going to pair it up with Narcissus Graviton, now trapping only a few members. So much health is on Know Yourself. They're finally starting to fall. Only Incubus remains for the tanks. still has Showtime and T-Smack by his side for all the healing, so we'll have to see how this one goes. And Kikis brings out the whole hog, just trying to create some distance on the point. Finally does push everybody from Heretic's Gambler off.
Yeah, I mean, once you start losing the tanks, it's going to be a slow roll the other way because they don't have the damage to really overwhelm you, especially when Know Yourself, they're able to keep everyone alive. And that was kind of the key. The Graviton Surge did log up 3 people from the defense. They didn't have the damage to follow up. 2 Heretic could just swing away because of the cooldowns of the projected barrier. But they are back. They have the Earth Shatter this time, but they're going to rely on getting a good Earth Shatter if they want to get a good engage and convert this first point.
Yeah, Heretic's Gambler did invest ultimates very early in that fight. Argued that Graviton with not really much to pair it up with. Maybe looking for try to catch up's whole hog, but again, another Coalescence. The same strategy as last time, except this time, T-Smack has the Transcendence to just get extra healing on the point, try and buy a little bit of time. You can see Know Yourself are now pushed off of the point. They're going to be giving up 1 tick here for Heretic's Gambler, trying to make house here, starting off with the Earth Shatter, but the kills are now falling in the way of the defense.
And the defense were able to win that out because it was a fight in both directions. The whole reason why you run triple tank is so that you can start overwhelming. Actually, this is triple tank here. You want to overwhelm the defense, and you can't do that unless everyone is focusing on the same target. So gotta give it up to Mechanics operating on that left side in terms of the attacker's perspective. It split up the attention of Heretic Gamblers as they're approaching, and that's ultimately what helped that defense win.
Yeah, if Heretic's Gambler could take out Showtime, this is going to be like the wheels of this vehicle of triple tank. And that would just cut off so much healing. T-Smack, as his Zenyatta, won't be enough to get all these tanks back to full health. Heretic's Gambler going to try again, but they lose Perkins early. OP freezes, Riptire comes in, and that'll have to be another reset for Heretic's Gambler.
Yeah, the Riptire finally finding its mark this time. We had 2 failed Riptires before. The defense will hold again. I mean, didn't really take too much from the defense there. They only really invest the Riptire in that situation, but it is enough. You take out 2, like you talked about, Lemon. That's 1 wheel and maybe a little bit more, maybe the steering wheel as well. You can still go in the direction, but you may not be able to choose it. So, Incubus, though, a little sneak flank here. You don't normally see a hog with a whole hog flank before. I'll have to see how this plays out.
Just Perkins hasn't been able to contribute as much damage as they would like. There's so many shields in her way, not finding the correct angle, but equal Kamehameha is trying to melt through these shields, maybe hurt some people in the back line here. Perkins again down early in this fight for Heretic's Gambler. In overtime, this will mean everything. And OP Freeze, multi-kills after multi-kills. This guy single-handedly stops the offense from making anything happen.
And there you go. I mean, this is just this split up offense. They didn't have the attention where they needed it to be, and ultimately leads to the defensive hold. They let up 1 tick, they let it go 49%, but still pretty solid. We check out this replay here. Of course, you get to see the tactical visor coming out from Know Yourself, but ultimately, like you said, it was OP Freeze with the concussive mine into the Riptire for the finish. I'm sure we'll see that again when we end up on the play of the game. Actually, no, we won't see it because we're going to switch sides. So good thing we caught that replay.
Yeah, and just to touch upon how the Perkins on this Widow was going to contribute to this fight. First, they have to take down the Orisa shield, which not the best shield breakers, having only having this triple tank. They had to really go past it. And then Perkins kind of went down early in these fights from the spam, either the spam grenades from OP Freeze or even soldiers on LOL's long-range damage. So this should have been a swap that occurred much earlier in the game.
Exactly. I mean, but you got to wonder if they really wanted to try to make the Widow work to see if she can work around the shield, as it is scrims, right? But at the same time, you want to give yourself a chance. And I totally agree, a swap from the Widowmaker might have been the right call. Break the shields, and it was only 2 tanks on the side of the defense, though. So I think they're trying to hope for getting at least 1 pick to try to make that defense work. But if you're just looking at OP Freeze and Lizard Birdie or LOL, they're able to really play the sightlines well and allow that defense to not lose its wheels in the middle. They hold it 49%.
And their defense, although they were running the 2-2-2, were able to smartly disengage off the point and then regain control after that. That's why they only gave up the 1 tick and were able to not roll that into a whole point capture for the other team. And that's OP, Freeze, and LOL really working in tandem to get that long-range damage in, which Know Yourself, or Heretic's Gambler didn't have an answer to. Perkins couldn't get the shots all the way across because of the amount of shields and bodies in the way, but hopefully this will be a different story. Heretic's Gambler on the defense.
It will be Know Yourself on the offense on the other side, but they're going to run something similar. See if Lizard Birdie can do the Widowmaker better in this map. Lemon, unless they run into the same situation, because they have a big shield on the other side for the Orisa. And there you go. So he's starting to get some damage. Wanted to hop out the last second to get a pick, but it means the rest of Know Yourself have cleared their way, and they are under, and they have showed OP Freeze on the Sombra.
Oh, they have to quickly disengage, get that control back onto the point, and they get those picks, but that's LOL with the double kill. As the Widow is going to start opening things up. I'll make that the triple.
And
Just
one.
don't even take the camera off of her or him, as the offense have the picks though, but not really reacting to try and push this momentum onto the point.
And this is the tough part of the defense right now for them. They don't have the shield because Orisa has gone down, and that means that LOL will have full sight, even just has the ability to go ahead and see everything there. Oh my goodness, and even Mechanics doesn't even get taken down from the tire too. This is just absolute disaster for this defense. They have completely taken this point in the first push, Lemon.
Yeah, rock, paper, scissors. Mechanics proves the hammer beats the tire. And they get that quick point A, and I guess technically win Lunar Colony, so this would make them, I believe, 2-0 now in the series, but we're going to see if they can make it all the way to point B, where Heretic's Gambler are taking an interesting approach of contesting here on this high ground. Although they have so many characters, like a Widow and a Junkrat that can play long range, a lot of people like to set up at the back of point B, so Know Yourself now want to push in through, but they lose one of their supports.
This might be a little bit of a bait, though, because they continue to push forward, and Lizard Birdie will lose, finally, the duel with Perkins. Perkins finally finds the better, but they just do the win here. All it means is that this first attack will be stifled as Incubus trying to go into the back line, gets the pick onto Barbara, and going for the whole hog, though that might be a little bit overzealous, if you will, but it means that the rest of the team for the attack are on the point here at Lemon. They don't care that they have been completely staggered because they just want to hit the gas pedal.
Oh, maybe even get this first tick and Showtime slamming in the sound barrier earlier for only Mechanics to profit from. And they don't even profit from the single tick. And losing Showtime early and then a few members getting staggered was maybe a questionable decision from the team to still engage the point and maybe just save a bit of time of going for the full reset.
They will have to reset at this point. And now it's at a point where Know Yourself are noticing that Heretic Gamblers are on that upper ground, so they're going to rely on Incubus to land these hooks. And they do get the Diva, though. That's a pretty big damage mitigation source for the side of the defense that is being taken out. And here comes the EMP. Is already onto the board, and no one can do anything except for Perkins. They have to rely on Perkins to get the kills, but she falls as well.
So they lost the try to catch up early, but the Resurrect went through from Logan, so they're reinforcing. You got a tire from Narcissist just traveling around, and T-Smag is the unlucky target. And although they invested, although Know Yourself invested this EMP that went in, I think, now is the Sombra was quickly switched off. They didn't really profit from it. They had their supports missing and the momentum missing as well, but they walk away with 1 tick.
One of the issues with the Sombra is that, again, your EMP doesn't charge up as fast anymore. So what that means is that, especially if you're just going in for the EMP and then warping out of there, you only have 1 DPS for your side with how you Know Yourself is running this. They're running 2 supports on their side, and so they put OP Freeze onto the soldier. That's a reliable source of damage, but not if you're dead. Narcissist takes him out.
Wow, 2 Heretic is down for the defense, but gets Resurrect back into this. The self-destruct from try to catch up also just zones the reinforcements to allow that Resurrect to go in. But Know Yourself trying to reestablish themselves. They have other members alive, just maybe taking a different approach. It's Incubus going a little bit to the right, and that's LOL just picking away at the defense. But Logan maybe not having that Resurrect available means maybe Know Yourself want to engage here.
And they will. It's going to be the Nano and the Whole Hog together. Narcissus is caught in the corner where he did not want to be against the Whole Hog. And the entire team is falling. It is only up to Barbara and the Widowmaker. She gets a trade in return, but Widowmaker is not one to contest on the point. They rely on two Heretic to get the damage down. But the Primal Rage is going to be huge. He pops that and destroys OP Freeze in the attack visor, only seeing an Angry Ape in his sights, and will not take him down.
Yeah, that investment of the attack visor later in that fight, was kind of in a losing situation, but he pops it to try and get Logan out of that Valkyrie. But that was a very clutch play from 2 Heretic to react to that attack visor, pop the Primal Rage, and bat that poor little soldier away, kind of like a fly. And you got 3 minutes remain for Know Yourself to get to point B, where Heretic's Gambler now taking a more distance approach to this defense, staying in this top right back corner, where the tank's just waiting on the point for the engagement. And here's Mechanics.
Mechanics jumps in. I mean, this is already in the back line here, but the supports are not able to follow up. Has to use the jump pack in order to get back to safety, but they do draw the Transcendence here, so the attack could choose to kind of back up and buy their time until, and this now Mechanics going to the back line, though. Perkins will get taken out, so it's a lot of damage falling from the defense here. This dive has been slow and steady, but it is starting to work here, Lemon.
Well, defense, are just a fortress on this point B, and both these Widows are sort of maybe affecting the playstyle of either team. You got LOL that had a few picks in these fights, either the first or the second, which allows in this window of opportunity to engage, but Perkins also has been maybe dueling him and distracting him and maybe making the supports a little bit wary of how much they want to push up with the rest of the dive squad. But 2 minutes now remain. Know Yourself going to this with a few ultimates, mainly the support ones. The vision unlocked here for LOL.
And they just got the mech back too. Incubus will be able to jump in with Mechanics at any point. But this upper ground defense, they're up on the rafters, has been working so well. Finally, Narcissus will fall, but the Primal Rage is going to be starting to stall. And Perkins is back onto the field. They got to pick onto Perkins early on, but he's already respawned and starting to do work on the opposite side, as going to destroy the offensive push yet again single-handedly. One Widowmaker can do that on Horizon Lunar Colony.
And that's exactly the danger if you leave a Widow unattended, kind of like your child. You don't want to leave your child unattended because it can do some very dangerous things, like what Perkins just did in that fight, single-handedly holding this defense together, while LOL is kind of off, maybe either getting a health pack or dead or whatever he was doing. If he's not distracting Perkins, this will not allow his dive team to be as effective as they want to.
And Heretic Gamblers are able to kind of scatter. Oh my goodness, but they do. I'm not sure what happened there. They used the nano visor, the nano boost, but it didn't go onto anybody for the attack, so that's very odd. But OP Freeze has a tactical visor here, and it will be drawing out again the dive from 2 Heretics. So this response that you're talking about normally would work, but the Transcendence wasn't able to get there in time. OP Freeze now just has to take out Barbara and have full view of the point.
This stagger on Incubus is just deadly. Out of mech and out of time. 20 seconds remain. OP Freeze should be trying to disengage and go with as many numbers as they can, and not even a second tick will be earned here. A little trickle coming in from Know Yourself. The Primal Rage from Mechanics, which was the guy who ate the nano boost earlier that kind of dove so far in the backline. We had no idea where that nano boost went. But we have no idea where this offense went either. Point A looked like a breeze, and point B is just a fortress of Heretic's Gambler.
I mean, just they're able to stay alive for so long and use the sightlines, but it will be the attack. They have 3 on the point right now. The Tire will take out Mechanics. That is a key member. The Lizard Birdie, one of the first adjustments here for him, had swapped onto the Tracer just a bit earlier off of the Widowmaker, but they get off the point and can't capture. Just trying to get the kills, but it wouldn't have been enough.
A Widow on defense on point B is just so strong. If you don't have the dive to go immediately after the Widowmaker, that's got to be your prime target. And I felt like Perkins on that defense was ignored a lot of the time. And the only person that they really sent to distract that Widow was LOL, Lizard Birdie, where he either could not win the Widow duel or was just having too much trouble, eating too much damage, and not able to distract Perkins, who a lot of the time was getting first and second picks in these fights. So defense has proven to be unstoppable for Heretic's Gambler. But again, because Heretic's Gambler did not take point A, it is Know Yourself that are now leading the series 2-0.
The first picks normally huge impact. Perkins before was the first picks, but they almost happened too fast. Know Yourself wasn't able to jump in and follow up with the second pick after that. but it was Perkins again, like you talked about, saving the day at the end, because once they jumped in and Perkins was back onto the field, he was able to find the shots and click those heads. But again, ultimately, they weren't able to complete the attack for their own side. And I guess, Lemon, as we're thinking about that, Perkins is kind of the one that we're looking at for Heretic Gamblers to be carrying this team. We'll have to see what maps come up next, but if there's anything with long sight lines, I'll probably see him back on to the Widowmaker. And look at that. This might be more Widowmaker here as we go on to Dorado.
Yeah, Perkins was not really swapping off of Widow when it wasn't working, but he made it work on the point B. Like on the offense, he ran that Widow against an Orisa shield where not a lot of damage breakers or damage dealers were on his team, so he didn't have a lot of opportunity, and also was getting picked from all the sort of long-range damage that came in from the defense, so kind of costed his team in that offense, but really held it together for the point B defense.
Will be Heretic Gamblers on the attack first. Go ahead and swap these back. They'll be taking the red side. I guess going back into kind of the other matchups, as we're going on to Dorado, Lemon, we saw OP Freeze flex onto the Sombra again. I guess given what we've seen from Sombra so far, do you think she's going to be played here on the attack or defense for Dorado?
I don't know. We haven't seen OP Freeze really pull out the Sombra since the first map of Oasis, maybe a little bit of a second. Seems to want to put more damage in with the Junkrat, trying to help his team break down the shields and get the kills, rather than act as a disabler. Or maybe he hasn't gotten used to how to attack as OP, as the Sombra, because we've seen him go into the backline and hack someone like a Zenyatta, where maybe you would have better targets like a McCree, someone who's going to be your danger target close range. So maybe OP Freeze has to get a little bit more used to Sombra play before he sees him pull it out. I think he's going to go back to the Junkrat for Dorado.
I totally agreed. I mean, but we see we saw the Sombra a lot during Oasis, but then was used on the first attack for Horizon Lunar Colony. But it seems like she's almost higher risk now, because while it is more powerful, those EMPs don't charge as quickly. So your team has to be absolutely ready in the perfect situation. And sometimes when you're trying to get the perfect engage, it's just going to escape from you every time if you don't really clutch it and just go for the fight.
Yeah, OP Freeze has to be in the range of getting these hacks. So if his team is going to play close, maybe these close range sort of like Tracer Genji, maybe he can follow up and get the hacks to sort of take out a shield of the Diva, or take a Pharah down from the sky, or take the Mercy down from the sky. That's where I think OP Freeze is going to shine, is how his team is going to play around him. And right now they're kind of playing a lot of distance heroes, kind of like soldiers and Junkrats, where they can stay at a distance, and OP Freeze maybe doesn't want to engage with the rest of the tanks. Again, sort of that high risk, high reward, where OP Freeze currently has locked in the Junkrat. So again, looking for more damage rather than being a disabler to follow up with the kills.
That's right. All right, I'm going to do a quick... I'm looking to listen to the stream real quick for a second, so we'll be back in a second.
Four, three, two, one.
All right, we are going to be starting out. Again, we talked about the defense being set up for know yourself and long-range damage. And it looks like the dominance in the Widowmaker is going to continue to go Lizard Birdie's way. Lemon, LOL, having the last laugh.
Oh god, this is another Widow duel we're going to be looking at. LOL versus Perkins, where last on Lunar Colony, I felt like it was a Perkins show. But it's going to be equal sort of Perkins looking for the shots, but the defense now disengaging back onto Market side, where they're looking to hold this choke with everything they have. Oh, that pick for that hook onto Narcissist takes him out of the fight.
Yeah, that hook is so dangerous, especially when it goes to behind the shield. There's nothing that you can do as the attack. You can't even put in healing past him for that. But Perkins now on the upper ground is starting to find the kills. Going to be taking out 3 already. This should be enough to push them past the choke point. It's going to be about know yourself. Can they get reinforcements in before point A? I don't know if it's going to be possible, Lemon.
Oh, I don't know. Only the tanks remain for Know Yourself, and Perkins has all the freedom to snipe away. Look at that, pick Showtime off as soon as he gets back to the party. So chasing the rest of these kills. Quick point A there for Heretic's Gambler. We go into the second phase of Dorado, where Know Yourself quickly want to get onto this high ground.
The high ground on defense is so important of this courthouse. It looks like a church, but I guess the church and the courthouse would probably use the same things if you had an older town, but LOL being pushed back. See, they want to be careful because they know Heretic Gamblers can jump right on with these tanks. You have the Diva and the Winston. It looks like two Heretic. They're flanking on this right side, Lemon. They want to hop up from behind them and kind of surprise them. And the surprise has really helped Heretic Gamblers push this forward. And they know exactly where they are with the Infrasight.
Yeah, and for sight from Perkins, know exactly where the defense is set up, and also Incubus late to the party. He's on the low ground, so he's not gonna be able to help the rest of his friends here on this high ground, but Mechanics, that awesome pin, dealing with this angry monkey who has so much health, forces him to go down onto the low ground, where meanwhile, Heretic's Gambler focusing on just maximizing this distance while the defense is occupied.
That's exactly what they wanted to do. That upper ground is going to allow you to contest around that corner, and the Earthshadow coming behind, but Mechanics, he's all on his own. He can't even take out Barbara because he had the extra health from the oh my goodness, the Riptire the other way though. This might have been the thing to save this defense. OP Freeze with a very, very big Riptire.
I think that's, if I had a finger to point at someone as whose fault that was, I think it was the Winston Primal Rage to Heretic, who didn't deal with Mechanics, knows he probably has an Earth Shadow with the amount of damage I was putting in, so he goes down, knows that Mechanics is in the middle of Courthouse, and slams that Earth Shadow behind his whole team, so gotta communicate to watch out for Mechanics if you leave him unattended behind your team, but the clutch OP freeze with the tire, of course I curse him when he goes down, sort of help the defense reestablish and regain control of this momentum going in, where Heretic's Gambler have some people on the high ground, some people on the low ground. Transcendence from T-Smack buys the team some time to get back on the payload.
And meanwhile, it was LOL taking down 2 himself, even winning the Widow off that was on the side, and they will be able to push them back. Heretic Gamblers, they had a lot of success staying together, but it looked like they decided that they wanted to kind of flank from 2 different sides. It didn't work though. Know Yourself was able to hold their ground, especially because of how good Lizard Birdie is in getting kills. Even so, it really saved them because OP Freeze died very early on. You can say that was Caster's Cursed or just bad positioning. I'd say it's more bad positioning at that point.
Yeah, Know Yourself back onto this high ground. They know exactly where Heretics are coming from, going through this high ground, and now 2 Heretics starts the engagement, but loses a shield, needs to back off. And we got Incubus with the whole hog, who's actually nowhere. Where is this guy? He's like nowhere in here, but doesn't matter. The attack visor comes in from Narcissus, who gets, there's the whole hog I was looking for. Incubus was coming from behind and just annihilates this entire offensive team.
Yeah, we had no idea where he was. Maybe he had used some invisibility, maybe an extra little somber perk there, or a little bit of a bug. No, it just was in full sight. I had no idea how both us, but also the attack didn't see him too, so can't feel too bad, because it was a really great whole hog that pushed him off of that upper ground. And it takes a lot of time to get up there too, Lemon, to try to push that in. And so they're going to rely on a self-destruct in the sustain of a Coalescence to get in here, but if they can't get a good self-destruct, then it's going to be another stifle push from this attack.
Well, Perkins is going to get dove there from the Winston after sort of being left unattended, and sort of a split push coming in from Heretic's Gambler. They're trying sort of this main way of trying to get to the payload, trying a different approach, but they're losing members. They got Logan, Narcissus, Perkins. Everybody is out of this fight. A minute remain, and they only have a Coalescence to work with.
The self-destruct was not at all what they needed. It looked like a good position, but already Know Yourself had collapsed onto the offense. They're chasing them away, so maybe a good position for a self-destruct had the attack gone the way that they wanted, but it did not, as Perkins will fall again to LOL. They're gonna have some trouble. Just look at all the resources they're putting into trying to kill Lizard Birdie up in the top, and they can't even kill him.
And Lizard Birdie's just a god and probably will go down or actually somehow survives that fight. But mainly, Heretic's Gambler left their backline so open, which allowed Mechanics to just kind of have a party back there. And now he's back with the rest of the team and actually went down early in that fight, where Perkins will have a lot of freedom now that he's taken down LOL, can hopefully get that shot onto Showtime. OP Freeze comes in with the tire, takes out the main support player of the offensive team, where a whole hog from Incubus finds a little room around the payload.
All right, able to push them off for the time being, but the attack is scattered at this point. They have 10 seconds to get back, and they have this. They were very scared at this point because of LOL has killed Perkins yet again. Logan will get on in order to trigger the overtime, and 2 Heretic is here as well. So, I mean, just about trying to clear them out, but Heretic will fall here, and it is just an automated advantage. Lemon looking very rough here for the attack.
But I like this follow-up and the resurrect from Barba. Actually swapping from the Moor onto the Mercy to try and make up for the first initial pick, but the kills are just falling in the way of the defense, who punish everybody, including 2 Heretic, who is back into this fight, and not enough could be thrown at this payload to make it go any farther. Just a flat tire on this one. Heretic stopped short of point B.
We'll likely get a reset because Know Yourself looking like they'll have a much easier time if Lizard Birdie can continue to hit those shots in the way that he is right now and win those battles versus Perkins. That'll be a much easier time, because I mean, even looking back to that first attack, getting through that first initial choke point, that was because Perkins got a triple kill right away, and that is kind of the power of Widowmaker here. If you can land your shots, unfortunately Perkins did not have the favor and the chance. The did not really fall his direction, but it will be Know Yourself now swapping onto the attacking side.
Yeah, just not enough damage, but also the coordination just wasn't there from Heretic's Gambler. You saw a few different approaches to try and get to the payload, but sort of a disengage between the 2 main tanks and the rest. You had, I think it was Narcissus switching to the Tracer, and Perkins never really got off for the Widow, and I think that's kind of been his problem of not really swapping when it's not working out for his team, and trying to make it work in situations that maybe are not preferable, because his team was not winning the ground war whatsoever, where although Perkins could get picks and maybe allow some vision, it wasn't maybe helping the ground war as much as he contributed to point B on Lunar Colony.
So, I mean, we're now thinking about the contribution from Perkins. Going to be important on the defense, of course, and so it makes a lot of sense that we do see Perkins back here on the defense as we get into the game. Lemon, I think it's going to be a lot of pressure on Perkins for this, so Heretic Gamblers will have to see if they make any adjustments to try to ease some of that pressure. It could be in terms of the way that they stay alive, and so they're going to be enlisting the help of Orisa and the Hog. This is a composition that will stay alive, that has a priority of staying alive. They have the tools to do it, and if they do get a pick off from LOL, they have the Mercy there, so as long as the Mercy can stay alive and well, that'll be very important for this matchup.
Yeah, sort of another interesting Winston Roadhog combination that you don't see too often unless you see it in the triple tank. But even then, it's always the Diva and Winston, because she can follow through with the dive where now Incubus cannot. But they're just trying to win this ground war and make this payload go past choke. But Mechanics has to dive in by himself, has to be a little bit careful of the hooks and try to catch up. Gets one, but doesn't close out on the kill.
They are past the choke point, and that is one of the initial challenges here for the attack. The point is right immediately under it, but they already have the Riptire the other way, but the team has already been cleaned up, so this Riptire, see if they can get some bonus kills. 50 HP left to go. Gets taken off from LOL. It's a little extra shooting practice there, but this is already a huge success for the defense, Lemon, because they're stuck in the choke point, and it's a tough place for the attack to be stalling out.
And it's tough for LOL to get in a good position as the Widow. He has to go on sort of this top underpass where Perkins is pretty much going to be hard aiming or looking for where LOL has to establish himself. And OP Freeze, as the second DPS player, all he can really do is sort of try and go invisible behind the team, exactly what he's doing right now. Look for that hook onto Orisa, who still gets the shield down, pops the EMP for extra hacking measures. Now looking for the follow-up of Know Yourself.
There you go. The shield is down. LOL is in the back line too. OP Freeze has full access to the back line. That is how the EMP is going to be used, and that's what's so powerful. Completely destroys the Orisa shield and can't even put up another 2. So OP Freeze, it seemed like Know Yourself just waiting for the EMP, and they were able to execute, and they take point A for it.
No one can
I
hide.
think Narcissus is happy ripping that Riptide for, you would think, not really any reason for the defense, although they lost point A already, but it kind of triggered this panic sound bear out of Showtime, who is right next to the tire, and he, instead of putting down a prayer, he puts down the Q, which I'm not sure if the sound barrier would or would not save him. I'd have to go on to Mythbusters to find that out, but point B will be the objective for Know Yourself, as Heretic's Gambler just short of it.
And LOL, they got the pick, but Logan was able to use the resurrection onto Perkins. So that is exactly what they want to do. See, the adjustments have been working here for Heretic Gamblers. Perkins is going to be taken out too. There's not enough reses now, though. Mercy has been nerfed too hard, and I don't think it's going to be enough to save Heretic Gamblers on the defense.
Oh, they're just maximizing this distance, getting closer and closer to point B, where the only ones alive were the supports for Heretic's Gamblers, so they need to just survive this one, and they actually get that pick onto Mechanics, and that's Perkins in the backline, already finding 2 picks, including on LOL, so now has so much freedom as a defensive Widow to go for more picks.
And there you go, then just the EMP just usher their way, lay out the red carpet, if you will, onto this point B. Logan is the only one left, as well as try to catch up with the whole hog, so it's going to buy enough time for Narcissus to get back to the point. But how much damage can they output? That's a Junkrat, but the damage will not be there because he will fall to the whole hog. Another EMP, another point here, Lemon.
Oh, no more EMPs, it seems like. OP Freeze swaps to the Soldier after exhausting his EMP abilities and all the hacks in the last one, which I'm surprised they have gotten this far with a Widow and a Sombra as their main damage dealers, but they're making it work, mainly relying on Incubus to just build so much room and get these picks with the hook.
He's looking for another pick, too. Playing a little bit of Mission Impossible. The music you can hear of the tiptoeing hog. I mean, it's going to be tough, though, especially because the game is very biased against people who have very heavy health pools, as the Riptire will come on the other side, and it ushers the Riptire all the way in past the shield, and they use the Transcendence as well, so that is going to be a stuffed push. Narcissus gets up close and personal with LOL. The rest of the team, too, they want to claim this kill, and will eventually go over to 2 Heretic, but it was a hard reset anyways for this team. And a minor stagger, so probably the first victory for this defense after their first stall of the attack at the choke point. Now finally able to take a little bit of a breath as they start to work their way towards their next ultimates.
And Know Yourself technically winning here on Dorado will be 3-0 in this series of best of 1006. Quick early pick from Perkins finding OP Freeze, and this one might be a better point for Perkins to shine on this Widow. Has that high ground control and just has sights on the doorway, and will be able to call out where exactly this push is coming from. But the follow through from the defense is so strong, and as they say that, Perkins gonna get resurrected back into this fight.
That's the power of the Mercy again, and this is exactly what they need. But right now, the next thing would be Perkins winning the battle, but they do not have that happen. This is just going the same way. I don't know why they don't make an adjustment on the side of the defense. But finally, it's going to be 2 Heretics saving the day for this defense, because he's going to be jumping in with the Primal Rage to dislodge them. Doesn't even lose his life for it. But I don't know, Lemon. 2 Heretic has been saving the skin of Perkins every time, been the one really helping this defense hold after it starts to cascade the other way.
And that could open things up for Know Yourself. It was LOL that picked Perkins off for the second time, and also Narcissus went down. So that was 2 DPS players down for Heretic's Gambler, but then they had 2 Heretic pop the Primal Rage in exchange with the double kill of his own, sort of stalling the offense from going in. Now they're getting onto the payload. They got the bongos, they got the whole hog, everything in the kitchen sink, but now a counter whole hog is going to be coming out with the protection of a Valkyrie and a Transcendence.
Both teams saying this is the time to brawl. It's enough with the picks. We're going to go and try to finish the game as Incubus is going to push forward. They get the hooks. They get the follow-up. The whole team is here. And LOL has the upper ground. They've seeded it. The defense is going to have a tough time eliminating this with the Orisa barrier, as well as LOL having this early sight lines, and even takes out the dive here. Lemon looking very strong for the offense.
Yeah, Perkins needs to go on that pick to LOL if they want to have any room to stall this payload, unless they go right below her, and there's the pick. Perkins opens things up, and now they need to touch the payload before it gets there, and they don't have fast enough players, and that sucks because... Actually, it doesn't suck. Obi Freeze at the Dragon Blade, which probably would have allowed them to stop anybody else from getting to the payload, but the 3-0 comes in for Know Yourself on Dorado, along with the 3-0 win in the series.
We're moving on to the next map. Before we do that, yes, Lemon, I mean, we already outlined the matchup, Perkins versus LOL, and it sounds like we were beating a dead horse, but that's exactly what we kept seeing in that matchup, all about the Widowmaker, and we did see adjustments out of Heretic Gamers, but what do you feel let that really fall flat on its face, because they still were not able to hold them off on the third point?
Well, it's not that Perkins is a bad Widow whatsoever. I think he definitely stands up against LOL and maybe actually wins most of those Widow duels. But after that, how much he contributes to the ground war and how Know Yourself know exactly what Perkins is going to be playing, so they can sort of counter it. Either have LOL in this Widow or the dive immediately go after Perkins, or play around the fact that the other team have a Widow. So it's been sort of easy for Know Yourself to adapt to everything that Heretic Gamers are throwing at them.
And these are such unconventional combinations of DPS. You talked about it during the broadcast. Had the Sombra and a Widowmaker at some point, and they made it work. And I mean, a large part of it too was due to Incubus and finding the hooks. Do you feel like had they used, maybe had they not found those hooks or not found those picks like they did, that it would have looked different for this offense, for this Sombra and Widowmaker DPS duo?
I mean, yeah, they made it work. So what do you need to change if it works out for them, right? I was kind of noting how much damage can a Sombra and a Widow really put out together, especially when you have sort of shield providers on the other side. I would have thought maybe that'd be more difficult if, I think they actually did run the Orisa, but I was like, man, is LOL going to be able to find those picks? Is OP Freeze going to sacrifice himself getting the EMP or the hack down, which will then sort of cut down all the damage that the offense had? But the way they're able to follow through in these fights, I feel like kind of disorganizes Heretic Gambler. And although they don't have although Know Yourself don't have as much damage output, they maybe their targeting is what's allowing them to still get the advantage in these fights.
And they have kind of upped the damage too with Sombra. They've reduced the weapon spread, so that in effect raises the damage, and of course a longer time on the stealth mode too, from 15 to 20 seconds, and so it's allowing Know Yourself, or OP Freeze in this case, because he's the one that's running the Sombra normally, to get into a better position and chunk down the defense after it happens too, because the shield instantly goes away, and we're seeing Know Yourself take full advantage of that effect. And so we'll have to see if Sombra comes back. But for now, we will be moving on to Hollywood, where Know Yourself will be defending first. So swapping sides back again, where Heretic Gamblers on the attack. And I mean, it's a lot of pressure on Heretic Gamblers, who pretty much now, it's already 3-0 in the series technically for this Scrim Lemon, and they need to find an answer for this attack. So I guess as we look at this, maybe first of the composition for the defense here, I'm going to notice a very interesting hero from OP Freeze as we're loading into game.
Torbjorn, which I guess people were teasing that maybe his daughter is going to be the next new hero, which I would love a hammer battle between father and daughter.
Is it hammer time? Is it hammer time, Lemon?
Yes. It is hammer time. He's got the turret ready and placed in a position that will not get spotted, of course, in the first push, and will get spotted once the action is commenced onto the point, which I think will cause a lot of trouble to Perkins on this Tracer, which I'm actually surprised that they pulled out the Torbjorn against maybe Perkins that is known to play Widow, because that would be an easy pick-off from the main doorway, or I guess the side computer doorway that can come in. But Perkins gonna have a hard time going on these flanks, but Narcissist spots the Torbjorn turret. It's gonna load some rockets and already take it out.
That's the adjustment they needed. Narcissist went back and got the kills onto the turret, but will have to lose her life for it. But Barbara, we're bringing her back to the fight, and this is the dive, and this is kind of the chaos that we think Heretic Gambish is going to need, but it is going to be LOL ultimately in the end helping this defense win it out, finding the kills so quickly. If you can rely on a hero on your side, a player on your side to perform that well, it just allows your team to do so much, even though they lost the turret early on.
And focus fire from Know Yourself to take out 2 Heretic and try to catch up pretty early in that fight, man. And Perkins and Narcissus are very exposed up in the sky, and LOL, known to be such a fantastic hit scan specialist, made it look easy to sort of stun these dive tanks coming in and also be a very effective hit scan against the Pharah in the sky.
And the Pharah, again, all she can do is peek over that edge, but even getting taken down again, the double hit scan with the Ana zoomed in allows them to take her out. The reses are reserved for Narcissus, but LOL, my goodness. I mean, you would like to watch the attack, but honestly, LOL has been tearing it up here. They are a bend, not break defense for Know Yourself. They allow this team to come in, but after they get down there, they just need to, if they're full view of LOL, they will get taken out.
Yeah, that early Deadeye, the start of that fight, and he's, like I've already mentioned, great to stun the dive coming in from 2 Heretic and anybody else following through, and Maya hasn't really, sorry, hasn't really forced a swap from Narcissus yet, who's close to the barrage, so maybe that could sort of open things up for Heretic's gamer, who are just... And even when Narcissus gets onto the point, he has to worry about the Torbjorn turret wherever it is, but the double pulse bomb from Perkins definitely proving he can play something else other than Widow.
That is going to be one of their win conditions here, and a good rocket barrage too. Incubus is going to stop the raining, but not the rest of the team from really cascading onto the point. The whole hog is going to be there though, but in a 1v4 situation, what can you do? Not very much. The pulse bomb opening and the rocket barrage follow-up, that's what they needed. Heretic Gambus finally catching a break their way.
Oh, catching a break. This is what they needed to be rewarded for their efforts. They unlocked the payload where they didn't get to unlock the payload, I think last time. Oh, what was the map that we just saw? Oh no, it was...
Horizon, Dorado, Hollywood, Oasis.
Anyway. Oh, Lunar, where... No, anyway, no, I didn't mean a payload, but how they just couldn't make the objective happen on Lunar Colony. Now they make it happen. But now they have to triumph through this defense of the Arista Shield and Incubus looking for the hooks. A little bit of reflecting damage from the Genji, but the anti-heal's coming in. Self-destruct gets sent into the back, and T-Smack and LOL missing from the defense.
And if you saw that grenade too, the biotic grenade, the anti-heal from Barbara, looking very, very good on the Mercy earlier, and now even better on the Ana, the healing denial. Even if the Transcendence came out from the side of Know Yourself, it would not have helped. So Showtime very luckily holding on to that ability, and it will be pushing on past the saloon here. They're gonna round the corner and be well on their way to point B if they can win one more fight.
They need to do this quickly. They stalled Incubus out of this fight, so they only have to worry about mechanics. But their main targets are the supports and the DPS. OP Freeze out of this one. Showtime as well. Mechanics will be the next on the kill list. Primal Rage, pulse bombs, everything. Everything is being thrown from Heretic's Gambler. Looking for the point B and now pushing on further. Looking for the final phase here of Hollywood.
Know Yourself was not able to get out of the doorway and away from that choke point, so they kind of got backed up, and all the ultimates are just thrown at their face. They were relying on Lizard Birdie to get kills on the Tracer, but here we see the matchup being much closer between Perkins and Lizard Birdie, and you might even say that Perkins is the one winning it out because he's the one finding the final frags, whereas LOL is left in the back line and in the spawn room a lot more, looking at the furniture there.
The tanks from Know Yourself have been out of position quite a bit. There was Incubus that got staggered out of that last defensive fight, and now Mechanics was in this really pushed up by himself, which again allows him to get picked so early in these fights. But Heretic's Gambler just pushing this payload into the final VIP parking lot where both Dragon Blades could be unleashed here. There's OP Freeze slicing through the tanks, but eats the pulse bomb from Perkins.
We jumped in the back and had a good position, but the rest of the team wasn't ready to follow up, and the Dragon Blade the other way is a possibility, and there's a juicy support in the back line, but the team is just able to follow up on its own to Heretic, maybe stealing away some of the blasé away from Narcissus, a little bit more of the play of the game, taking it away from the rest of the team because they're all contributing here. It's Heretic Gamblers all over the kill feed individually, but that means that they're working together better as a team.
Wow, just the combination of ultimates from Heretic's Gambler really proven to be strong. And the last minute, oh my god, Transcendence from Showtime tries to buy his team a little bit of time, but not enough for Know Yourself, who lose this defense 3-0, but they'll have this rotation, they'll have their turn to give this equal showing to Heretic's Gambler, and 2 minutes and 12 will be in the time bank.
Finally, Heretic Gamblers coming alive. Because of the matchups here, I was very surprised we didn't see Lizard Birdie on the Widowmaker actually, but it might have been due to the fact that Heretic Gamblers were pushing with such pace. Widowmaker is very strong in this between point A and B, but it relies on your team establishing a defensive hold. But Know Yourself were never able to get in the position. You talked about the tank positioning beforehand, and it's going to be, we'll see if they make the adjustments, because that attack looked very strong. Finally, Lemon, we saw the power of what Heretic Gamblers were able to bring to the table, thanks to, really honestly, it was to Heretic making so much space for the rest of the team, jumping in with the Winston, and the Narcissist following up with the damage.
I agree, and I also like that Genji duel that happened between, or mainly Narcissus, who kind of opened things up with the Dragon Blade from his team. And now they're going to be on the defense, where he's got currently locked in the Junkrat, and Perkins also has the McCree, where we saw a bit of his Tracer play. And actually, I think that was what his team needed to push this offense, is somebody to harass their backline, which Widow maybe is the answer in certain occasions, but this Tracer was something that Know Yourself were not expecting to deal with.
And the matchup looks a lot closer, too. And we'll have to see when it moves, if it moves on the Street's face, who will be the dominant Tracer player. But until then, we will get Perkins on the McCree, and LOL will be on the Tracer too. So I think what the thing we have to watch out for here is, of course, will OP Freeze find the damage with the rockets, but will LOL get flashbanged and destroyed by Perkins on the opposite side, as Know Yourself will be attacking and starting to flank off on the left side, but Incubus gets hooked first. That's already a good start for this defense if they want to Know Yourself that they are boss here in Hollywood.
Yeah, and they are running a Mercy too, so obviously not going for that Resurrect in that no man's land between the point and the main archway. Just gonna wait for that person to get back to the party, where Incubus will be joining them, and looking for OP Freeze to get maybe that initial pick into some of these players into the backline, where Perkins will be the hit scan to kind of harass the far on the other side. And both these teams looking for picks, they're looking for hooks. OP Freeze makes it to the backline, looking for these juicy supports, and Mechanics with the pin gets the kill, but traded in the process.
But this means that the rest of the attack already passed that choke point, and this is a really good spot to be. The shield is up, but OP Freeze is behind it. You can see the reverse side of that clamshell, and OP Freeze is working his way towards the rocket, towards that ultimate. And ultimately, it was really about Reinhardt going down for the defense, or the shield going down for the defense, and they lost all their momentum because they were just completely not able to deny the damage from these rockets.
Yeah, Heretic's Gambler were trying to really win that ground war, but in that part, completely ignored where OP Freeze was, and eventually just got literally on top of them, and raining rockets, so many rockets down, earned himself the barrage, as you mentioned. Now they have unlocked the payload, and they're trying to build so much room, pushing this right side. They've got Incubus pushing the whole hog. That's how you're going to clear this entire Route 66 looking part of Hollywood.
All this way, we talked about before how it looks like sometimes an offense is overextended, but if you look at the top of the screen, the point is being pushed up, and they're past the choke point, the critical reason why you push up on the offense. So already mission accomplished. They don't need to add any more ultimates into that. They've already invested what they needed to get it past that critical choke point.
Perkins swapping onto the Soldier, sort of maybe feeling more comfortable to have a more self-healing, more mobility when getting chased away from the other team, where now they'll have to reestablish. Nope. A little bit of a pause here.
All right, let's go ahead and check out the situation here, but we will see if we can get this back online. Looks like the account's logged out. But anyway, Lemon, I guess getting back to this, you saw Perkins swap onto the Soldier, was on the McCree before. But we're seeing that what the difference here though is in terms of the game, Heretic gamblers are able to roll their way between point A and B without stopping pretty much. But Know Yourself here, they're getting kind of stalled out. What do you think they're gonna do to get it back into gear and get that VIP truck rolling?
Well, maybe they pushed up a little. The offense pushed up a little bit too far, and I think they had something good going. They had Incubus opening things up with the whole hog, and they had the Reinhardt still there, and then they kind of got, I wouldn't say dismantled, but got spaced out between each other. And they're pushing the right side, which is kind of interesting because you would see usually they want to push the main way where the payload is actually going, while also keeping an eye on the flank side, which is the right side where they could be coming from. But we're just waiting for Mechanics and Showtime to get back into this one, which unfortunately I think their ultimates might be reset. But yeah, I think that was just one failed push to make room through the journey of the payload. And I like what Heretic's Gambler are bringing to the table. It's something a lot more different. Usually they're very weak on their offense, and they got all 3 points with a pretty decent time in the bank.
That's right, and it looks like I got control of the lobby right now.
How do you give it back? Oh, what? What did you do?
Might have kicked an accident. Well, let's get back at Showtime.
Removed it. I'm dead.
All right.
Well, just let you run it and switch it after.
Let's just do it. Let's see here. How do we? Oh, it's the equals. That's right. All right, there we go. Now we're gonna hide the chat. Boom! We're back in the game. Sure, we're good.
Okay, we're back.
Oh, we're back. We're back. But we're talking about the adjustments that need to be made for this offense to get it back kick-started, and it's not going to be Incubus getting hooked in right away. There you go. Oh, okay, I was muted. My bad. To you, not to the stream.
Oh, that probably sounded awkward.
Adjustments have been made, though. OP Freeze with the Rocket Barrage, though, is only able to find the kill onto OP Freeze. This is going to be enough, Lemon. The tanks are on the point, and they're still pushing it up.
And the Resurrect going through to bring OP Freeze back to the fight. And Heretic's Gamer now need to quickly get away, but Whole Hog will help them find their way back to the spawn, where the payload will be pushing in and looking for the point B capture. Whereas Perkins swaps back to the McCree, a little bit more hit scan potential, also to face off in the Cowboy duel against LOL.
You gotta have that mirror matchup.
Yeah.
It's a showdown, and especially because this is the Westworld part of the Route 66. I guess we're not bringing up HBO intellectual property, so it is very apt here. But if you look at the positioning, Heretic Gamblers, they're trying to route their way around, and maybe it's to make room for Narcissus, who's going up into the sky and is going to get the double swipe actually onto the Mercy. So anti-air Dragon Blade, you don't see that very often, but Narcissus able to push them back also with the help of Perkins on the 6-shooter, making peace here on the lot.
Oh, that's got to be painful for the offense. They were just 1 meter away to getting to point B, and then the perfectly timed Narcissus Dragon Blade coming in and really disorganizing Know Yourself and getting the kills to follow through, where a couple swaps coming in, T-Smack on the Moira and OP Freeze on the Tracer, again to harass his backline and also add a little bit extra healing to the non-mobile front line.
The swaps here, I mean, it's for the attacking side. Maybe they want to roam together as a squad. And here you go, it's going to be Know Yourself pushing up, Showtime holding the back line. The Earthshatter is ready to go though, so it's going to be relying on him to land a good one, but already driven back. He can't get to the rest of his team, can't get any healing from Showtime and T-Smack, so he will fall, which means that the rest of the team has full view of all of Know Yourself with no shields in the way to land damage.
Yeah, the way that Know Yourself came through the left side, trying to come through the front of the payload, kind of split them. He had some of the supports trying to stay onto the payload to get maybe the healing from the payload and also try and push it while the defense was distracted. But still some people alive, and that's another Narcissus Dragonblade coming in, but gets stunned and bashed away from LOL.
What this means is that now they have the opportunity to land a big Earthshatter, which allows the rest of the team to push up. LOL even had the Deadeye, which allowed just one kill there, but it is the insurance policy to make sure no one else is pushing up on them. They have 30 seconds to get back and match the time bank, and they want to do it. They want to beat it out here to make sure that they are the ones who take Hollywood. And if Lizard Birdie can continue to land these shots like he is, be able to have that Deadeye again and lickety split.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they'll be able to beat the time. I mean, unless they can put some nitro on this payload in the next 5 seconds. But I guess I don't know if they're going to count this as a win for Heretic's Gambler, but we will see how this one rolls out. As Know Yourself just in front of the payload, just waiting for a contest. But look at the sneaky push from the top. Heretic's Gambler dropping down, dropping some justice at the same time, where a Sound Barrier and Perkins with the Deadeye will see who we can find, and it gets Mechanics out of the picture.
This is a crazy, just look at how they, a crazy flank the entirety of the tank line for Heretic Gambler, jumping down on them when they were ready to push into the last corner. And it just completely discombobulated them and opened it up with the Deadeye 2, making sure that there was no possible hope for that attack pushing in. Even if they'd used the Sound Barrier or Coalescence there, that was just a disaster and kind of a trap set for the attack. They don't have any ultimates to work with for the attack, only this Earthshatter, which is coming back up, but they're just getting completely smothered by this defense.
And smothered by this Dragonblade. That's the third Dragonblade he's had in just this small amount of distance. Gonna get hooked away from Incubus though, but the defense, the way they're able to come from that high ground and just collapse on a Know Yourself, we don't really know how to deal with it. But it was Narcissus that started off with the first and second blood in that fight, and then the Dragonblade to follow through, which didn't end up to much except scaring away the offense.
Know Yourself have, obviously they've been scared away a couple times, but they have the Earthshatter and the Whole Hog together, and so they've been relying on them so much, but finally it's going to be the flank going awry. The Dragonblade, the Narcissus has to run away, try to get into the backline to just to get some kills, and it's going to be the kills starting to fall their way. They can land the Earthshatter in order to lay out this defense, and lay out they will. Everyone getting wiped out, and it's only up to Perkins who will surely fall. The tank line escorting that VIP service into the lot.
And with less time than Heretic's Gambler, but it's been the 3 consecutive times that Heretic's Gambler tried the same like high ground drop down, where Incubus was waiting with the Whole Hog and really split the defense of Heretic's Gambler, who now we're trying to just come back from spawn and stall it, where only the supports I think were remaining in the backline. And what's an Ana gonna do against a monkey? I'm not really sure, but it's kind of interesting that they didn't really switch their defensive strategy. And when you got a Whole Hog and especially a Road Hog to deal with close range, it's maybe not something you want to try more than once or twice.
I mean, it's a good defense, a good idea, but it didn't work there, and ultimately was the hook from Incubus that stopped that flanking attack. And we'll be setting up the next map here, as I'm now lobby leader, so going on to Lijiang Tower next. Some more control point chaos, Lemon. I think these teams are all going to be warmed up, so excited to see, because we started out on control point with Oasis, and Know Yourself just looked a lot better, a lot more comfortable. But Heretic Gamblers look like they are ready to roll.
Hey, and so am I. That's it.
I guess as we're going into this next map, for Lijiang Tower, this is also a very strong Pharah map too, so we'll have to see where we start out on. Let's see here. Sure that this is just a 5.
Or you mean 5 maps? Because I guess Know Yourself already 3-1.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I want to make sure that we are doing best. Score to win is 3, so we can play all 3 maps, just in case one of them.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think they played all 3 maps on Or yeah, oh well, I guess they went to map 3 on Oasis, but
That they actually it worked out because they did.
Now arriving at Lijiang Tower.
Okay, and then speaking of, I mean, we're on Lijiang Tower here in Lemon, and wouldn't you know, with a strong fire play that we saw from Narcissus, we're back and we're starting on Gardens.
and they don't have to deal with those annoying fireworks in the air anymore.
Oh, I picked
Sort
the
of,
wrong map. Guess I could
ah.
have picked the Lunar New Year
the
version
celebration one, yeah.
next time.
The
next time.
well, I mean, it's visually and the sound and, but anyway, as long as it's not actually dangerous.
Yeah, fireworks can remove fingers, so don't always have to have the word of caution. But fortunately for these heroes, they both respawn and don't have to worry about those fireworks anyways, and they're dealing with maybe some more dangerous firepower in their own hands.
Maybe. I mean, out of OP Freeze and Narcissus, I felt they were pretty evenly matched. Maybe even OP Freeze was more effective with the barrages, but this will be a far mercy that I'm excited to see. I know Logan has been more adept as the accompanying mercy player, and T-Smack is mostly playing like Moira and Ana throughout this series. So it's not only up to the far, but up to how flexible the mercy can be to avoid those rockets and help out the ground war as well. Oh, the quick early boop, showtime off of the map.
And that's what you can get if you don't have to use a concussive blast to get into a good position. So Narcissus showing the better control of the cooldowns, and that allows the rest of the team to just completely wreak havoc. Know Yourself getting wiped out, especially because they didn't have Showtime there to get them onto the point. That the disadvantageous position and the lack of healing mean that Know Yourself will lose it first here. But another good thing to point out, Lemon, looking at the other tanks on the non-Winston tanks, Incubus is on the Hog. But on the side of Heretic Gamblers, try to catch up is on the Diva. That's going to be key for stopping the kills from the Rocket Barrage. So I'm going to look for Incubus to get some early picks to try to make up for the fact that he can't have a reliable way to stop Rocket Barrage damage.
Yeah, and Heretic's Gamblers don't have that pick potential either, but they got rockets and they got Perkins. LOL has a pulse bomb, but Perkins has one too. There you go. The point looks like it'll be in favor of Heretic's Gambler. Just one little Winston remaining from Know Yourself, but extending this lead. Heretic's Gambler reaching to 40%.
And at that point, too, don't know why Mechanics tried even put down the bubble. At that point, you're just trying to get killed as fast as possible so that you don't stagger the rest of your team. OP Freeze will have the Rocket Barrage, so again, it's all about this Diva, and it's being sent up in a position to where he cannot dodge, but luckily has enough distance to lower that damage, so it could have been a lot worse. Know Yourself catching a break.
And also the barrages that we could be seeing at any moment. We can see that there's a fight also on the point, but Narcissus wins the direct rocket onto OP Freeze, while T-Smack was also trying to assist on the healing on the point, forces the Valkyrie from Logan, while T-Smack and now the supports are out of the picture for Know Yourself.
And not only does the defense matrix stop against rocket barrage damage, it stops the whole Hog, just completely stuffed by the whole Hog, by the defense matrix, excuse me. Incubus had nothing out of that. They invest a lot of ultimates for Know Yourself, but they don't get any progress on the point, so draw out a change. Mechanics switching off of the Winston and onto the Reinhardt, but they only have 10 seconds left to get to the point.
And it's clear Narcissus is just the superior Pharmacy combination. It's these boops off the map, like that pick onto Showtime, and getting the direct rockets to get OP Freeze out of the picture. But a quick barrage from Narcissus is going to get eaten from the Matrix, and the rockets also from OP Freeze, who is still alive, which now allows Know Yourself to get the point back in their favor after giving up almost the entire map to Heretic's Gambler.
You commented on how Narcissus was performing better, but Narcissus had a critical mistake, left OP Freeze up and alive, which ultimately meant that he was able to land the rockets during the rocket barrage. They didn't need the Diva at the end of the day because of the misplay. Narcissus wanted to get the big 3K to play the game, but sometimes you got to take care of your counterpart first, and that was a critical mistake that allowed the rocket barrage to be for naught. And OP Freeze now has the rocket barrage, and they have the point too, so they should be able to use it to the good advantage, and here it comes.
Oh, huge barrage from OP Freeze, getting the tanks out of the picture, and Incubus actually was the one who was occupying Narcissus and gets the final hook. So while one pharmacy was busy with a Roadhog on one side, the other one was raining down a bunch of rockets. But point will be still held from Know Yourself, and now they have to play a perfect Lijiang Tower if they want to take this first map.
They've already counted up to the 50% mark, and Heretic Gamblers, they're taking a lot of time to reset, and some may say it's worth it, but it also means that you're running out of time for the attacks. And so we'll see, of course, don't know exactly, Narcissus trying to land those shots. They use the sound barrier to get into the point.
Just the boop almost knocked both of the main tanks from Heretic's Gambler, but they had their movements on cooldown, and oh my god, there's again 2 Heretics is giving me heart attacks. He keeps trying to fall off the map, but he has his jump available. So getting back to the payload, but because all these boops that keep happening, Heretic's Gambler tanks were late to the party, which means their DPS and their supports were eating a lot of damage and also out of the fight. So clearly a one fight from Know Yourself.
And even getting the kill at the end to Heretic with one last swipe, the last one available for him with the Primal Rage, is able to dislodge the Incubus from the other side. So this means the Heretic Gamblers, they have a lot to work with, but the Earthshadow is going to put a lot of them on their back. But where is the follow-up? Narcissus is still up in the sky and doing damage. Mechanic's doing a lot of work too, and the rest of the team able to wipe it out. And it's already up to 99%, Lemon.
That was such a huge play from Mechanics to just shut down the dreams and hopes of Heretic Gambler. The pick onto Perkins, the pick onto Barbara, I think it was. And now they only have to deal with the last Winston OP Freeze with the last minute barrage that's directed to nobody. But they walk away with the map win, 0 to 100 comeback.
When you look back to that critical play from Narcissus, was the rocket barrage, forgetting about how dangerous leaving the other Pharah up is when you use your rocket barrage. And he'll now have that lesson pretty much seared into his memory for the next time he decides to do that. Trying to go for the play of the game and trying to melt the tanks, but first take care of the person that can kill you just as quick as you'd kill their tanks.
Yeah, Know Yourself have been proven to be a lot better on the defense. As soon as they retook the point, there was just no chance for Heretic's Gambler to get back into it. And mainly, like you said, the critical play from the far barrage that sort of just opened this giant wound that never stopped bleeding. But we're here on Control Center, and a bit of a different composition from Heretic's Gambler. More on the Death Ball, where Know Yourself, we know they're comfortable on this Death Ball.
They are indeed, and Perkins is going to be the critical person, the president, if you will, in this situation, because they'll have all the damage, and so it's starting to get tickled by LOL on the backside of this. So this means that the damage from the grenades is not going to be there, and OP Freeze will take out his counterpart, which means the damage is going to be very, very little here. They're going to rely on the tanks just focused firing. They get the point first, though, able to finally win it out and wrestle the position because of all the meat on the napper.
Well, you mentioned that critical pick onto Mechanics, and also interesting that T-Smack could have went for the Resurrect, but decided to keep healing the team in the fight. So maybe if they brought Mechanics back, maybe this fight could have turned into a different situation. Now, Mechanics is back. They step onto the point. Now try to catch up. Is a little bit out of position. Eats the pulse bomb and also the hook. So they finish off one, and there's a Riptire finding the backline. Perkins also out of the picture. And Heretic's Gambler trying to quickly get back to spawn and not burn too much time.
The people on the point, they offered themselves a sacrifice. As 2 Heretic is the one trying to get back. Does not need to get staggered either, so we'll wait for the rest of the team here as they kind of had, I mean, just look at how chaotic that fight was. They will lose Logan and have a bit of a stagger here, but they have a lot to work with moving into this next phase, as long as they can save their hog. I mean, it's all gonna be all about the Earth Shatter. When you're running this this triple tank, it's all about the ultimates landing. If they can't get a good Earth Shatter, then it's gonna be a really rough push for them.
Yeah, I'm looking for 2 Heretics Earth Shatter once the equal shield is broken. Actually, Mechanics lands the first Earth Shatter, and anti-heal goes through also from T-Smack. Just guarantee even more damage to go through, but try to catch up, tries to build a little bit of space for his team with the whole hog, but he's dropping so many teammates and gets anti-healed while he's trying to take a breather. But might actually get away with his life. But importantly, Heretic's Gambler did not use their Earth Shatter, stayed patient with that, and Narcissus now built himself up to a Graviton.
And so they can use this combination. You see the Graviton and the Tire together. There goes the Graviton. It catches 3, actually. It draws out the sound barrier in reply, and there's the 3K. That's the combination that we were looking for and what they needed to get the point back for Heretic Gamblers.
Patient, Patience pays off for Heretic's Gambler. They kind of whiffed the Earth Shatter they were depending on from 2 Heretic to get Earth Shattered in the previous fight, but they at least built enough ultimates to have the combo wombo with Graviton and the Riptire that allowed them to keep this point going for them. Now holding on towards this choke, they got OP Freeze with the tire, and it finds try to catch up. That's 1 tank down out of 3.
Oh, and the the Earth Shatter 2 knocks down the entirety of Know Yourself, the remainder of the people onto the point. It looked like a good pick as Incubus, as try to catch up, was taken out, but everyone else gets wiped out on the other side of it. So you gotta wonder if the Riptire would have been better served being used clearing up this choke point, because this is a tough spot to work their way out of, as it already passes 70% for Heretic Gamblers.
And that's why Zarya is so effective on this map. The Graviton is what can open things up to try and get out of this choke with mechanics. That early pin onto 2 Heretic, but maybe this can be an opportunity. OP Freeze with the tire, Perkins out, Narcissist down, Heretic's Gambler losing members fast, and Know Yourself just breaking out of that choke and now taking back the point.
Kind of cascades so quickly, and even Mechanics finding a late charge against the wall. Mechanics not locking Logan onto his back, and LOL is back on the Soldier, and they're making the adjustments here. They're already starting to win, but this is going to be the way that they extend their advantage if possible. They just got to watch out for the Riptire from Perkins as he's respawning.
Perkins, yeah, is going to have that Riptire. I'm looking forward to seeing when he's going to pop it, just trying to break out of the choke. They got the speed boost going on. Know Yourself is going to be backing off. They have the Coalescence from Barba. Add that extra healing, and there's the Riptire. They got Graviton ready. It's combo wobble time. Double kill going in, and now they're following through with the rest. 97 to 95 and growing. Know Yourself want to hold on to it, but they just can't. The retake is here.
And only up to OP Freeze. If this is a God tire, that would be the flip the other way, but we're finally engaging in overtime. Mechanics is back in town, though, with Showtime, but it is looking very dire for them. They're going to start to lose the numbers on the point, and then we're going to be going to the 3rd map here.
Round 2 lost.
Wow, what a... Know Yourself looked like they could have actually gotten back to the point and made this maybe a closer fight, but I think it was OP Freeze and a Soldier fellow just dropping like flies as soon as they even got close to the point. Mechanics, or the Reinhardt, I think it was. Yeah, Mechanics got the speed boost from Showtime, but not enough damage output to stall enough time for reinforcements. As like you said, map 3, we are here on Night Market. I'm excited to see who's going to walk away with it. This is a different Heretic Gamblers than what we've seen at the beginning of this series.
They look different, exactly like you said. A large part of it due to the fact that their tanks are playing much better together, support staying alive, and sometimes they're just not getting picked off as much. They're just playing smarter here, playing together as a group when they need to, but splitting up when they need to as well to avoid damage from the other side. 2 Heretic on this Reinhardt is a pretty scary person to play against. And there you go, Incubus getting dragged in yet again. This is not the first time we've seen it on Lijiang Tower.
The stun hook combo is so deadly against tanks. Gets hooked and stunned and just immediately eliminated from the fight. Incubus will try to make it up, but Know Yourself still alive here. They got their healers, providing a lot of resources for their damage output. Pulse Bomb gets landed onto, I think, the Roadhog from trying to catch up, but still alive into this one as the point's going to be raging on and the reinforcements are going to be making it back.
It was the Heretic Gamblers getting the initial picks, but ultimately Know Yourself with a better outplays, with a better individual damage, and a large part of it due to the fact that Blizzard Birdie, or OP Freeze this time, was doing so well on the Tracer. They finally flipped the point after a long battle, and already some ultimates coming out before even the first unlock of the point.
Let's see, Narcissist, yeah, landed that last Pulse Bomb. And interesting that Incubus got picked first, but then they're able to stay alive long enough for reinforcements to come in, and Heretic Gambler not able to finish off those kills, and maybe having a hard time targeting to finish the fight in their favor. So they'll be stuck here at the choke point, but not if 2 Heretic has something to say about it. Gets slept right before the charge, but he's not done yet. Goes for another charge. Mechanics in a bad situation, has to hop out of this one, but so many kills following in for Heretic Gambler.
And they make their way onto the point off the back of a very nice in zoning Earth Shatter, and even the fadeaway Fire Strike is going to protect him here. See the barrier going down though, but they have the numbers. As long as Showtime is able to get taken out here, they will be able to flip the point, but the stagger is going to allow some of the reinforcements already to get back for Know Yourself.
The front line from Know Yourself cannot get back in time. Exactly. The pulse bomb from Narcissus just hitting its target every single time, and mainly on the tanks, focusing on that D-mech of the Diva. And I think that's actually the quick swap off after that, going Incubus, getting onto the Roadhog, maybe definitely his more comfort pick, and his hero he's most adept with. For Know Yourself looking to re-engage here, and Heretic's looking to close that gap in the points.
Oh, and OB Freeze trying to go for a flank here. And look at the DPS. They're kind of lagging behind the rest of the team. And this is one of the issues with Know Yourself. With their DPS are not in a good position, then they're going to get completely wiped out as the Dead Eye will take out T-Smack. And it is a trade, but when this happens in a trade, it means that the defensive team is going to be holding on to the position as long as Mechanic can be dealt with by Heretic Gamblers, and they're back on the case.
It's just a war zone between both these teams, only having like really 3 members remaining, but Know Yourself able to get back so much faster with the speed boost.
Wow.
And now the whole hog pushing everybody out, and LOL is just such a fantastic McCree player, also aiding in the kills, taking out the supports, where Heretic's Gambler gonna lose control of the point. Maybe Narcissus adding a few percentage points before getting stunned there from LOL. This might trigger a switch from Narcissus after he uses that pulse bomb.
Normally a trade like that means that a defensive team wins, so in the same way Narcissus was stunned the entirety of the team for Heretic Gamblers for their scratching their heads. But it wasn't too bad. Already 53% up their way. But we see Know Yourself, they know how to play ahead, especially in Oasis. I believe we're in the same situation in terms of just the map order that they're winning. And if history tells us right, it's going to be Know Yourself taking this, and it's going to be the perfectly timed sound barrier protecting LOL from this from the pulse bomb.
Oh, high noon for LOL. Not to be amounting to much, and actually the kill's still following in his team's favor, mainly getting rid of Perkins to Heretic and Narcissus so early in that fight, which so much resources for try to catch up when both the supports were alive in that picture, as 100% to 53. Know Yourself take the final map here on Lijiang Tower and extend their lead in the series to 4-1.
There you go, 4-1 on this team. Let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the lobby, and I believe, I think this is it for you. I think you have to take off, right?
Oh yeah, what time is it? Oh yeah, I'll take off. Yeah. So are they doing another map? You think? Probably.
Probably. It's all right though. I'll just I can just solo cast it, so it's no worries. Or I'll just
just watch it. I guess you're you're hosting the lobby now. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good work.
Yeah,
Maybe
good stuff.
I'll VOD review this one with him and let you know. But talk to you later.
Sounds good. Thanks for joining. All right, folks. Looks like it's just you and me. This very intimate solo cast. We'll be going to King's Row for our last map.
Now entering King's Row. Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
We are back for the solo cast, and something that I definitely don't recommend, but you know, why not? Lemon had a meeting, so very important one, so don't want to take away from that, as we will see Heretic Gamblers moving on to the attack first. He's looking at this kind of lineup here. We're running the 2-2-2. What's interesting here, Heretic Gamblers saw try to catch up with the Great Hooks. Always able to catch out someone ahead of time. Usually it's Incubus that were doing so. So know yourself, seemingly knowing this. So try to catch up. He's going to try to go for the hook under the backside of that sleeping soldier. LOL. It's not time to sleep right now, sir. Time to wake up and be able to defend against this attacking onslaught. But it will be Incubus finally getting the better of trying to catch up that time. OP Freeze to contributing to the damage. Even trying to chase some more will get taken out for it. Punished, if you will, and the attacker's advantage. We'll see if they can take advantage of the situation at this point. Perkins is back onto the Widowmaker, and we saw earlier his work on this hero. So they know exactly where they are, but not in a position to get the damage in a good place. But OP Freeze bringing out the tire now. They know they're all on the point, but it gets taken out. OP Freeze's tire gets taken out by Narcissus here, who has the Dragon Strike, and they know they're going to be in that library, that hotel, actually. And so, of course, the Dragon Strike's going to take out Incubus too. So this attacking team for Heretic Gamblers, decisive yet, and with the bound the back of Perkins, who has another Infosight, is going to clear the way to make sure that they can just capture this point in.
Objective A captured. Escort the payload. Online sight.
And looking at this team, Heretic Gamblers, they want to move up and try to pressure the defense so that they cannot contest the point. Pushing up this payload past the choke point is a very critical thing for this attack. Because a lot of times if they attack and you stumble at that point, it's hard to get that payload kick-started back into motion. So try to catch up, and to Heretic will make sure that no one is able to slip by them and contest that. Of course, Perkins has the upper ground too, this bird's eye view, and be able to know if there's someone who is sneaking around the back. And all the while, you see the payload already pushing up to here. So Incubus tried to route his way around to contest onto the point, but it's already too late. They've gotten it past the choke point, and the fight is commencing right in front of point B. So will be Perkins getting the kill onto LOL. Was looking the wrong way, and finally it will be Incubus and OP Free stumbling on the point, but the charge is going to bring back Incubus all the way to the start, and together with Narcissus, I don't know if they're going to have enough damage to take him down, but at least out of position for the time being. Two Heretic really kind of have this a lot to work with, looking for the Earth Shatter and the whole Hog combination together. It's interesting that we don't see a Zarya here, to be honest. Only Zarya and Reinhardt are the dynamic duo, that couple that is all you need in 2-2-2. Look at that, Heretic. He's going to be trying to go for the charge, but OP Freeze to bring out the tire in return, and will take out Barbara and two Heretic. Even more ultimates being thrown in, but probably not needed, as Perkin is the only one here that's really threatening, as OP Freeze is leading the charge here and positioning like a tank because he is blood hungry. He's hungry for the kills and wants to add more to his eliminations. But unfortunately for Know Yourself, if you're looking at the ultimates from the side of Heretic Gamblers, they didn't really invest much at all. Really only the whole hog and the tire their own way, actually, as Perkins is moved off of the Widowmaker onto the Junkrat 2. This means that not a lot has gone down. So Earth Shatter here would open up the way for a big Dragon Strike. But here comes Incubus. He has the whole hog driving them back. But are they baiting themselves into a big Earth Shatter here? Don't know exactly how it's going to go, because look how far up Mechanics is. He's going right into the face of the rest of the team. And another hook. No, the history repeats itself. Try to catch up, takes down Incubus here, and is opening up the opportunity for the Dragon Strike to be followed up with. And this is the attack pushing their way towards point B. Very, very nicely because of the amount that the defense was pushed up. Even a Fire Strike catching OP Freeze, he wanted to be able to stay around there and bring it in the damage and maybe do a last-minute contest, but as not to be so. Two Heretic showing the patience, not using that Earth Shatter unless absolutely needed. The Dragon Strike was enough for them to do so. See Heretic, the Gamblers are working their way up, and Perkins goes back onto the Widowmaker very interestingly. Riptire is here. They're all laid out, but the Riptire means that the Earth Shatter means that they're going to be just wiped out here on the defense. As the rest of the team here, they do lose their Reinhardt pushing up, but at least it draws out the Sound Bearer from the opposite side, as it will be LOL back up onto the high ground. As we know, Lizard Birdie loves to do so well. They have two snipers kind of going the opposite way, but they're still winning the battle, winning the ground war and the sniper war in the same time.
Heal me. I need healing.
But at this point, if you're looking at Heretic Gamblers, because of the patience that they've had and the amount of pressure that they've been able to generate out of just the few ultimates, means that they're going to be coming in here with 4 on their own. Just gotta be careful that the whole hog doesn't dislodge them from a position to where they would want to put the Dragon Strike, which is right here. It's gonna be splitting up the team. You look at that, TS Smack is caught in the middle, trying to retreat across the line of where the Dragon was, but it does so much damage trying to push in, but being punished because LOL is on the upper ground until you clear him off of that Widowmaker and making sure that he's sent to the spawn room. It's going to be tough for this attack to be pushing in, relying on the Sonic Arrow to make sure that they know exactly where Perkins is, or exactly where LOL is at all times. There you go. There's the Sonic Arrow. They know he's not on the upper ground, which means that they can move in with a little bit more confidence. Earth Shatter is ready to go, but they gotta win the shield war first, though, so the Coalescence will allow them to do so. Here comes the Earth Shatter. He puts it right near the shield. The shield was still up, but they were still in the path, just the reach beyond the shield itself, which means 2 Heretic and Perkins will start to be popping off at this moment. It is an absolute slaughter for the defense. They all fall, and it's up to Mechanics here trying to get a pass, but 2 Heretic wants to take this opportunity to push up aggressively. Only the Riptire can be the thing that saves them. So Krasa goes up behind and does take a Perkins, though. So that is a good start, as OP Freeze will be going on and going into the rest of the point. The Coalescence making sure that they're going to be all topped off, which means Mechanics can be sent forward aggressively, exactly where he wants to be. They'll push back the offense, at least for now, but just got to watch out for getting picked off. Mechanics wasting, or possibly wasting, this shield. Oh my goodness, going in for the aggro charge, doesn't find anything. So this might be the go sign for this offense. Two Heretic, no Earth Shatter. The shield is being whittled down, so this might be a situation, though, that Know Yourself is going to get baited in because they have the whole hog the other way. Mechanics trying to come in with the charge. He's going to be booped off the side. He almost gets always good pushed off the edge, but he actually gets booped off himself. Incubus with the reverse whole hog to push him off the side where he wanted to put the Reinhardt on the other side, but still it's 2 Heretic onto the point with a support. That hammer is going to dislodge them ever so slightly, while Perkins has a position on the point. OP Freeze trying to go for the kill, but the point was being won by the attack as they finish with time remaining on the clock.
0-3, switching sides.
Seem to be in the underworld here. Go ahead and go back to our objective. How far below surface are we? Whoa. That is a very deep underworld. Very luckily, you die after a certain amount of time to where you don't have to worry about. Okay, now I'm just absolutely stuck. Go ahead and do. Is this where my observer is gonna bug out? Hello? Anybody? Buddy? There we go. Whew. Scared there for a second. I have to restart the lobby. So they're able to push it through in overtime, but still completed the 3 points is now it's going to be up to Heretic Gamblers making sure that, wanting to make sure that Know Yourself will be pushed back. Won't be able to finish the point.
Attackers.
And Try to Catch Up has been such a high performer on this Roadhog. Getting those hooks onto his counterpart, Incubus, getting wiped out each time. We'll be trying to use the Sombra here. Well, will be, again, them wanting to hold the choke point. So if you're just looking at this Sombra, sorry, the Symmetra, excuse me, Symmetra trap, this might be deadly here. So I have to watch out to see if Know Yourself, who will lead the charge, and will they be driving into this side? There we go, OP Freeze. Oh, he's gonna get trapped there. That's exactly what they wanted. Narcissus is getting the last laugh in OP Freeze. They know now there's a Doomfist, so the element of surprise will no longer be there. Regardless, though, it's not like Heretic Gamblers is going to be setting up and going back and changing their spawn because of that pick. So Heretic Gamblers will be just staying put, and they're going to know to fight up against this Doomfist very soon. Again, the big power of Doomfist is the ability to get to the backline easily and dislodge tanks. It looks like they will do some changes on their own. And switching to full dive, they want to get right in, get by these Symmetra turrets, eliminate these Symmetra turrets quickly, and be around OP Freeze with the Soldier. And there you go, there's the first pick there. LOL getting the pick onto Perkins just like in the past. Now it's going to be up to this dive. Can they stay alive through this whole portion? Because Incubus is going to be losing the mech. Mechanics jumps in without much health at all, trying to wait for the healing from the team, but it is going to be chunked out as Incubus falls outside of the mech too. Means that Heretic Gamblers can push up a lot more aggressively. They know there's only one tank and a not a shield tank at that. The bubble has already gone on to cooldown. Perkins, from the defensive side, knows exactly where this defense is going to be when they're going to be coming out. There you go, another pick there. Perkins finally in the comfort zone and feeling like a much more even battle between these two Widowmakers. And it's because on the defensive side here, a lot of places that you can be, and you're forcing the other team to be in a position where they have to be aggressive. Now, the only thing here that might mess up Perkins is that there are a lot of ways too for the Widowmaker to show up. And there you go, there's LOL on the lower ground and will die for it. Was distracted. They knew exactly where Perkins was, and he's going to be punished for that as will be Know Yourself pushing onto the point. Finally, Mechanics into the driver's seat, into the back line where he wants to be. Has to hide out because there's no actually healing there for the time being as OP Freeze and Perkins. It's up to DPS now to clear the rest